Welcome again to Kalamazoo Housing Today. I'm your host, Jeff Toffel with the Home Builders Association of Western Michigan. And we're going to have a great show today. We've got two great guests lined up. Well, two organizations, I guess you could say, because we've got two guests from our first organization. In a little while, my co-host, Aaron Hovestat, will be joining me, and we're going to talk with the Executive Director of Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services, KNHS Home Ownership Services. His name is Matt Lager. He's been on the phone. He's been on the show before, and a great guest to talk about some of the great unique projects around housing in Kalamazoo. And there's quite a bit to talk about. So we'll talk with Matt here in just a little while. But first, I'm really excited to talk for the first time on Kalamazoo Housing Today with two great folks from Bekins Appliance. And they're up in the Grand Rapids area, but they do serve Kalamazoo. If you're listening to this, Bekins takes care of you too. And so we're talking with Scott. Is your title CEO, the guy that does everything, owner, or all of the above? Scott Bekins.
Technically it's president. Thanks, Jeff. But yes, I'm the owner, and so the buck stops with me.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Scott. And then we're also have your brand ambassador, Jennifer Toscano, on. Jennifer and I talk quite a bit, and she's always fun to talk to because it seems like there's always something new that she's got to talk about. So good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, everyone.
Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. One of the things I love about doing the show is that we have the opportunity here to showcase some of our members and what makes them new and different, and why folks that are tuning in for Kalamazoo Housing Today should know about Bekins. And I'm really excited to introduce you guys because I know maybe when you first joined over a year ago, I know that your reputation was kind of like, ooh, they're expensive, right? Because of that high level of service they provide. I don't know that I could afford that. That was kind of the mindset of a lot of our members that were aware of your organization. But what I'm really excited about is that you've had the opportunity, and Jennifer's at our meetings all the time, to dispel that myth, to correct that perception. So Scott, before we get into the history of Bekins and how it came to be in your family, why don't you just first of all just tell us a little bit about the business and why you do how you do things and why you do them that way.
Well, that might be too long for our segment this morning, Jeff, but I'll start on some of the points. First, the one that you brought up regarding that myth or that we are high priced. And this has been a fight since day one for our company, that people immediately write us off as being higher priced because we provide a much higher level of service, both in our stores and with our installation and services, repair services after the sale, which most companies don't have anymore. And ours is at a level far beyond what anybody else offers. So because of that, when people come into a beautiful showroom that's clean and you have friendly people and they're knowledgeable, they're experts, they want to help you, they care. And when you have installation people who are career benefited full-time professionals working for the company, not subcontractors, and the same with your service people. When you have that level of service, people initially will automatically go to, wow, they must be high priced because their service is so much better than anybody else's. And I've often said that, I would rather fight that myth than the myth that we're cheap and don't give good service. Because I would much rather fight the myth that we provide such better service that we must be higher priced. And the ways that we do that, number one, this is a technological advancement for our company and for our industry. And it's where there now is services that will scrape the internet all day, and they will check pricing against all of the big box stores. And then every night at midnight, they will upload that and correct our online pricing and our digital price tags in our stores to be the same price. So that is the technological way that we fight that myth, is we tell people when they come into our stores, look, these price tags here, they're all digital. They change every night at midnight to be the same price as the big box stores. And our website does the same thing. You can compare shop us with the big box stores and see that we are the same price. Our industry is full of a lot of dirty little secrets, and it's changed a lot over the last 20 years, which we'll get into in a little bit. But one thing I can tell you unequivocally is that you cannot be higher priced and stay in this business. You have to be able to play on a level playing field. And our motto has always been Same price, better service.
Well, I know you've already demonstrated that with so many of our members that since you've joined us, started doing business with you, and that level of service that you're providing to our builders and remodelers is second to none. And what I was really excited to hear when I was up in your showroom for the first time was that that's not just for builders and remodelers, but that's for anybody that's looking to replace an appliance. And I told my wife, it sounds weird, and trust me, people, I'm not making this up. I said, sometime when we want to go out for a nice afternoon up in Grand Rapids, we need to go to Bekins and look at the showroom. And she's, go appliance shopping for fun? What are you, just insane? But I'm like, no, you trust me, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's so much fun to walk around the showroom because it's gorgeous, and you get ideas of how to lay out the kitchen and to see what's new. It really is an experience going to your showroom.
I appreciate that, Jeff. We spent a lot of time when we designed this showroom in Grand Rapids. We wanted to be the best, and we were one of the only retail showrooms in the country that was visited by the president of the largest appliance manufacturer in the world. And because of our reputation for our displays and the way they're set up, we worked with a lot of different kitchen designers and interior designers to kind of get their best of their input on our different displays. So we worked with our manufacturers to help us with subsidizing some of that cost and be able to put in some phenomenal vignettes with all different types of cool things, from backsplashes to countertops to cabinetry and flooring. Now, we don't sell any of that stuff, but it's all part of the experience. And we want people to be able to come in and walk through our showroom. And here's one of the coolest parts, Jeff, is that they can turn every appliance on. Gas ranges, induction cooktops, wall ovens, refrigerators. How can you buy an appliance in today's world when you can't even turn it on and interact with it? How do you know that you're getting the right one? The answer is you can't. You don't know. And when you look at a dishwasher, for instance, and somebody's shopping for a dishwasher, they're concerned about the quality of the dishwasher. They're also concerned about the noise of it. And when they look at a row of dishwashers and they have different ratings on them, like 39 decibels or 42 decibels, who knows what that means? Nobody really understands what that means. Well, in our store, they're all hooked up live. So you can turn every one of those dishwashers on and actually hear the difference for yourself and be able to understand how noisy is this, because they're average noise ratings also. You have to be able to actually listen to that dishwasher to say, oh, I need to spend a little more money and get a quieter one, or that's good enough. So our showroom, we love the fact that a lot of independent kitchen designers and remodelers and builders will use our showroom as a way for people to come in and get that first kind of pointing down the right direction of what kind of style do I want to go with. Because there's no names of anybody other than Bekins in our showroom. So it's a very universally acceptable. Anyone can come in and look through and see all kinds of really cool stuff beyond just the appliances and get great ideas for their kitchen and the layout and the colors and the schemes. And so it's a wonderful experience center. That's what we wanted to make it. We wanted it to be so detailed, so clean, and so different everywhere you walked that it was like eye candy constantly.
And there's no doubt that you have nailed it. And and I can tell you, in one of the corners of your store, you have my future kitchen when I custom build a house, right? My big retirement home that I've always dreamed about, or win the lottery, right? I'm just going to say we're going to Bekins, and that's going to be the kitchen, and that's where we're going to start designing the house around what they have up there. It's absolutely terrific.
So that's wonderful.
How about brands? I mean, I noticed quite a few. What are the different brands that you carry, and what makes some of the brands that you carry different?
Well, selecting brands is extremely important to us, because if you look at our ratings as a company, we have higher customer ratings than any other appliance company. And when you have multiple stores and you reach a lot of geographical area and you're in an industry that frankly is not known for customer satisfaction, it takes a lot of work to keep your brand clean and to have great reviews. And so when we select brands that we sell, they have to have the same values, at least as much as capable as possible, so that their brand and how they support us supports our brand. And I tell our vendors regularly, look, this is a win-win situation if we work together, because we will represent your brand in a way better than any other person in the appliance industry. And in return, we expect that you're going to make sure our brand stays clean by backing up our service department, our installation department, our sales department, and our customers to make sure that they're happy with your product. And the problem with suppliers is they change quite a bit. And you always have new leadership, new acquisitions, changes of brand. So we have to be on it all the time. And nobody's perfect, Jeff. And there is no brand out there that is perfect. And that's where it really comes down to knowing that you're buying from a brand like Bekins with the kinds of ratings we have online, which are extremely hard to keep that level of reviews. You know that that company is invested in making sure that you're taken care of, because everything rides on our brand. And if we stop taking care of the customer or start selling products that are inferior, we're going to lose that brand. And if we lose that, we're done.
You know,
so the brands that we carry the best brands that are available in the industry today, from the most expensive to the regular products. We have everything from the really, really expensive handmade French ranges to your everyday Whirlpool, Maytag, LG type products that are the same ones you'll find online at any big box store, and we're the same price. Well, there are some brands that are very well known that we don't carry, Jeff, and very specific reasons why we don't carry some brands.
Sure. Well, I'm glad you mentioned LG in there, because, and maybe Jennifer could speak to this just for a moment. LG has joined with Bekins in being one of our champions for our Kalamazoo Attainable Homes Partnership. And I've really, really enjoyed getting to know the folks from LG as well, just as much as you. And so, Jennifer, anything you want to say about LG and kind of the process that we went through, and you're currently working with some of our builders on the Attainable Homes project. Anything you want to say about that whole thing?
Yeah, well, with LG and with all of our vendors, we've built such a strong relationship with them, where even as Scott mentioned, their business structure changes all the time. There's new faces that come in, there's people that go, but we've built a strong enough relationship with these vendors that we have, that when an opportunity like the KHP houses come up, we kind of can go to them and say, hey, this is a really great opportunity. Are you interested in partnering with us on this? Are you interested in being a part of this? And because of those relationships we built, we get a lot of feedback on it. And LG was one that really jumped on it and said, hey, we definitely want to be a part of this. And they really fit kind of the bill for what you guys were looking for, where, it's not the handmade French range, but it's going to be a product that is dependable. You have Bekins that will back it up with service and with install. And it's a good, solid product. And like you guys said, you're building parade quality homes. And these are parade quality appliances that are going in them.
Absolutely. And, it's just been great to bring great partners into that. If you were listening last week or in our first season that aired last winter, you know that the Attainable Homes Project is, we're putting new construction in Kalamazoo's core neighborhoods where it wasn't economically possible to do before. And it's because of all of our partners that this program is just about to start its third round of homes coming up here in a few months. So we're talking with a couple of folks from Bekins up in Grand Rapids. That was Jennifer, who is the brand ambassador. I think you've got a great job, right? Because you're working for great people in a great organization. What a great brand to be the ambassador of. And then the president. It
makes my job easy. Absolutely.
And then we're also talking with Scott Bekins, who's the president. Scott, one of the things that I think sets you apart, and it's one of the things that folks wouldn't know just from coming around and having that awesome experience in your showroom, and that is some of the things that happen back in the warehouse. And I was blown away by your commitment to sustainability. Could you just tell folks about why that's important to you and to what level you guys are going to in terms of being sustainable?
Yes, thanks, Jeff. We have about a 70,000 square foot facility in Coopersville, Michigan, that we support all of our service and installation, warehousing, delivery out of that facility. And we built that facility back in 2014 to support our growth. And one of the things that we did when we designed this facility, which was very intentionally designed, just like our showrooms, one of the things that was intentional about it was making us able to recycle everything that was recyclable. And one of the dirty little secrets of our industry is that the appliance industry produces a lot of trash because it has a lot of packaging. There is, if you think about a larger product that goes in high quantities into every home, you won't find one that is more than appliances. And so the amount of times you replace your appliances, upgrade your appliances, put in new appliances with a remodel or a build, all of those have a tremendous amount of packaging. And the sad reality is that most companies out there throw all that in the landfill. Recycling takes commitment. And really what it comes down to is money, because it takes space, because you have to be able to hold recycling. You have to be able to build it up to a certain amount so that somebody will bother to take it from you, which it's gotten more difficult to get taken in recent years than in the past. But you also need a tremendous amount of labor to separate all of that recycling. So we are able to save and separate all the different pieces and send them out to different places that will take them. One of the greatest examples is styrofoam. And styrofoam is voluminous. And we have these huge white bags that are probably 6 foot square, and we fill several of those a day with styrofoam, several a day. And we have one of our gentlemen who makes a run between our stores and our warehouse every day. He brings those bags to a recycle center because they won't pick them up. And so we deliver them just to make sure that the product gets recycled. We don't get any money for it. We have to separate it. We have to deliver it. But that is something that would fill some people's pool in a day. And that would go in the landfill if we weren't recycling it. But then we recycle the banding, the strapping, the cardboard, the corners, the plastic film, the bubble wrap, everything that can be recycled, including the old appliances, we recycle. And that is costly, but it's worth it, because when we look at the end of the year, how much stuff we've recycled and how many trees we've saved, gallons of oil, gallons of water, it's astounding. And the sad part is that most companies don't recycle because A, they don't have the space to do it, which costs money. And B, most of them subcontract their installation. Those subcontractors are just a couple of guys in a truck they rent. They don't have a recycling center. They throw it in the garbage.
Well, and we're talking about that level of service that you provide, and I love that it doesn't even, most of that packaging doesn't even come to the house when you deliver, right?
Right.
And so there's been plenty of times where that's been left behind at my house, right, in the past, and I don't like dealing with it. I don't.
And you can't recycle it. You don't have access most of the time to recycle styrofoam and plastic film.
Exactly.
And that's what most places do. They leave you with it. All of our people, we unbox everything at our warehouse, check it all over for damage before we load it on the truck. And then we recycle all of the packaging material. That way, if we do find something that has damage, if we have another one in stock, we can always take it right then. So you're not inconvenienced with us having to come back.
And then, that's such a big deal. That's happened to me again, in the past when I still lived in Texas. I ended up with 3 dishwashers in my garage because it didn't get inspected until it got to my house, and they didn't want to take it back. And I'm like, well, now what do I do with these things, right? So
most people would be amazed at how often that happens and that they are inconvenienced because of it. If there was a collective way that everybody could communicate about how many times their installation of appliances was a failure, you'd be shocked.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I definitely want to have folks hear about, and that is your family. And so you've been doing this literally your whole life, right? And so you've grown up with this. What your dad did and how the business started was so cool. So please tell that story. I absolutely love it.
Well, my dad grew up on a farm, and he knew that he didn't want to work on the farm the rest of his life. So he became the tinkerer who fixed everything inside the house and outside the house. And when he was a young teenager, he went to work stocking plumbing supplies at a hardware and appliance store in Grand Haven, Michigan. And they quickly recognized that he had a knack for repairing things, and they put him into installing and repairing appliances. After 25 and a half years there, he started his own appliance repair business, and it was on my 8th birthday. I didn't recognize the importance of that at the time, though my dad definitely had those plans. And that's when I started working. And he would first taught me how to hold a flashlight, which I didn't do correctly because I, an 8-year-old kid, I'm always looking around everywhere except where I'm supposed to hold the flashlight. And eventually started teaching me how to repair appliances. And he hired another gentleman who could drive that I taught how to repair appliances, because by the time I was 14, I was repairing appliances, but I couldn't drive yet. So the funny story is there was a customer that actually opened their door and saw me at it and said, "You're not coming in here to fix my washer," because I looked too young. And that customer called my dad, and my dad said, "Well, that's too bad because he's the best appliance technician there is, but I'll send somebody else later." And so my dad always was a phenomenal guy, had a great reputation, just the kindest gentleman, and truly was the crackerjack of appliance repairmen. I remember going to schools where manufacturers would teach us about new products, and everybody asked my dad what he thought. They just respected him so much because of his knowledge and his professionalism in the industry. When I was 15, my dad asked me if I wanted to open a store. I, of course, 15 years old, and I thought, oh yeah, that'd be great, that'd be cool. I had no idea what I was getting into, frankly. And my dad later told me that he could tell I would never be satisfied just being a service technician, that he needed to give me something to keep me interested. And so we opened the business in Grand Haven in 1982. The service business he opened in 1975. So in 82, we opened the appliance retail store in Grand Haven. Funny thing about that is that we had already been selling appliances for a number of years out of our pole barn on our property, because a lot of customers would want to buy stuff from us if we were the ones that serviced it for them. So that's how we started. It was very small and grew very slowly from there.
Well, Scott, I want to, we just got a few more minutes to go. And so I want you to be able to tell folks like where you are and website and all those kind of things. We're not going to have time today to touch on workforce development type things and the training and the commitment that you put into the folks, your repair folks. So we're going to have you back on a future show when we're talking about some of those workforce development things that we do, and we can drill down into that. But for folks that are listening, and hopefully we pique their interest, like I said, it's an experience, a wonderful experience to go to your showroom. So where is it? How can people find out where it is? Give us that information.
Well, our website is Bekins, BEKINS.US. We have locations in Grand Haven, our original location, and Grand Rapids on 28th Street. Those are our retail locations. And we also have a large facility in Coopersville, but we do not have a showroom there. That's our service center, warehouse. All of our parts and service technicians and installers work out of there. And I would just like to say that the one big difference about workforce development, which we will get to soon, is just how hard that is. And especially in today's economy right now. But when you call Bekins, you don't get an answering machine. If it's open hours, you get a human being. And everybody that shows up at your house has a Bekins uniform because they are a benefited full-time career Bekins professional. And that is the real big difference, whether it's service or installation.
Absolutely. And so for folks listening, obviously that 28th Street location is going to be the closest to Kalamazoo, and
it's a quick
super
drive.
Easy to get to. Yep. When COVID's over, you'll be able to go up there and, go out for lunch after you have your wonderful experience. But now you can just get some drive-through when you're done. But
there are some great restaurants up here by us too.
There absolutely are. And, that would be, if you want to take that to another level in your showroom there after COVID's over, it would be great to have celebrity chefs, in their cooking on the great appliances.
We have done that. We have done that a few times, but unfortunately, COVID put a squash on that for a while.
Well, Scott, it's been such a pleasure talking with you today, and to hopefully introduce a bunch of folks to Kalamazoo, to Bekins, and everything that you have to offer, and most importantly, what you stand for, the business that you do. And one more time, in case people came in late, what's your tagline again? Because I think that's so important.
Our tagline, believe it or not, has been this since the 80s. Same price, better service.
And he's not kidding. So I'm a geek. Anybody that knows me knows that's the case. So when I was walking around your showroom, I put that to the test. So I'm Googling it. I'm shopping online, everything I can. He's not kidding. Same price, incredible service. That's Bekins in Grand Rapids. Jennifer, Brand Ambassador for Bekins. Thanks for being here. Scott, President of the operation. Appreciate your time and joining us on Kalamazoo Housing Today.